Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well out there. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video of my latest Amazon purchase. This is the WingHome 4G trail camera model 480 ACE. This is a 24 megapixel 1080p trail camera. And if you've watched my videos before, I like doing these unboxing videos just in case there's somebody else out there who's thinking about buying the same item, wants to get an idea of how does it work, what's the setup like, what does it look like when it comes in. So first thing I'm going to do is let's open it up and take a look at all the items that it comes with. Now, in all fairness, I've never heard of this brand, WingHome. The way I stumbled across them is I was actually looking for a camera for my birdhouse, and I thought WingHome might mean that they did birdhouse cameras. Turns out they do trail cameras. The reason I bought it is because I used a cellular camera a while back. I used actually a Moultrie, really enjoyed it, but the data plan was too expensive. This company's data plans are pretty reasonably priced, and they work with AT&T, which is my cell phone service. So for the price, I figured, hey, why not try it out? Let's look at all the accessories. You get a mounting strap. You get a USB cord. This is going to be to plug in the camera and do any kind of firmware updates, or pull the images from the camera onto your computer. The camera will also take a SD card. You can pull the SD card out as well. The antenna, it's got metal threading to connect it to the camera. This company does provide you with the SIM card for the cellular service. And then let's take a look at the camera itself. So if you've watched my videos before, there's a couple of things. Wow, this one's really cool. I've never seen a camera with LEDs like this. It looks like it's a flat LED panel versus individual bulbs. There's a couple of things I look for in trail cameras that I buy that are my preferences. One of them is that it runs on it can be run on a solar panel, which this one can. I tend to try and run all my solar trail cameras off of a solar panel. That's a preference for me. It also runs on AA batteries if you don't have a solar panel. The other thing I like is that it takes a full-size SD card. It doesn't use a micro SD card. Full-size SD cards are just easier for me to handle versus the micro SD cards. This would be where you run the strap through, and then there's also threading at the bottom if you wanted to thread it to a exterior arm. So that's a quick look at the unboxing and the camera itself. I'm going to put some batteries in it, go through the setup, show you how that looks. Okay, so I've got my solar panel plugged in. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera. You've got three different settings down here. You've got off, setup, and on. You're going to go to setup, but there's really not a whole lot of setup that you can do from the camera, because most of your setup is going to be done from the app, which is pretty common for any cellular trail camera. There are a couple buttons here that I'm going to show you. The down button would be your QR code. If you needed to add a camera, you would use the QR code here. And then once you press it, every one of these, hopefully you can see it okay, it'll tell you how to exit it. The up button is just going to be your playback. You can review the different pictures that you've got, and you can play them back. Again, if you press up again, you'll exit that. If you press to the right, you'll see your camera status. And again, it'll kind of show you all of your settings. You're going to see this in a second when I show it to you on the app, but you can't change any of it on your camera. You have to change it on the cell phone app, and then the cell phone app basically connects to the camera and updates all of this information on the camera. But this is a way you can, let's say you don't have your cell phone and you wanted to view your camera settings, you can do it on the phone. Again, you press the button to arrow, and then if you press the left button, it'll just show you your camera information. And that's really it. Again, there's really not a whole lot of reason that you would go into the camera other than the very first time that you set up the camera, you'll need that QR code so you can add it to your app. Once you've got the camera ready to go, you've got it positioned out in the field, then you would just move this button to on. And at that point, everything's going to be done pretty much through the cell phone app. And I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, so I mentioned I was going to go through the setup. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to download the WingHome camera app. It's a free app. I've got it right here on my screen. We're going to go ahead and open it up. It's really easy to set up this app. As with most of your cellular cameras, it's It's a lot easier than actually trying to do your setup and configuration on the camera. So you'll notice that when I log in, it's telling me that I've got less than 10% of my data left. It gives me a chance to upgrade my data plan. I can cancel or I can upgrade. And then I'm in on my cameras. There's a couple different tabs at the bottom here, a couple different options. I'm just going to click on them to show you. I'm going to go through this really quick just so you get an idea of how the app and how the settings work. Under map, you can see the location of your camera based on the cellular signal that it's sending out. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can change it from SAT or normal map. I can go to the gallery now. The gallery would be any images that I've downloaded and saved that have been taken. I can click on my camera, and then under camera, there's three lines. I can click on my options. We're going to go in through this later, but you can see the general settings. I can take a photo or video. At this moment, I can check my camera status, see the temperature, see the signal, date, all of that kind of information. SIM card management, modify camera position, or I can delete the camera. And again, we'll go back into that because we're going to go through the settings. Messages would be any messages that I've got from either the camera being triggered or from WingHome support. So for example, if they did some kind of firmware update or something like that, you would see those messages in here. And then I can go to my account and I can see my account information, change my settings, change my notification settings, my balance, username, stuff like that. What I wanted to show you was the camera settings. So in order to adjust your camera settings, all you're going to do is go to the camera option, and then you're going to click on the three lines, and you're going to click on general settings. And this is where you can change everything about how your camera is currently operating. You can see with mine, my camera mode is photo. What I really like about this cellular camera, I mentioned that I had a Moultrie camera before that was cellular. It only did pictures. You couldn't do videos. With this one, you can do video, photo, or photo and video. Just know that depending on your data plan, the video is going to take up a lot more storage than your photos will. Same thing with image size. You can do 24 megapixel, 12 megapixel, or 8 megapixel. In every one of these, you'll notice it said can't be changed. It's because I didn't change it to anything. If I change it to 12 megapixel, then it'll change. What picture size do you want it to be sent? I'm not going to go through all these. I just want to show you some of the different options. The remote control, what would be the delay if you're using the remote control? Multi-shot, how many shots does it take whenever the camera is triggered? The video size, do you want 720p, 1080p, or WVGA? Your PIR sensitivity, how sensitive do you want it? What I really like with this is you can cut it off completely. So a lot of times these cameras will give you the option to do a time lapse or motion, but even if you do a time lapse, the motion settings will still be on. This one you can turn it off completely, which I thought was a nice feature. There's a couple nice features I like on this. I'll show you some of the other ones. Night mode, do you want max flash, minimum blur, do you want it balanced? Again, your flash power, do you want it high or low? We talked about time lapse. You can go in here and you can turn on the time lapse. You've also got a delay. That would be once the camera's been triggered, how long before it can be triggered again. And what I like with this one is this one you can adjust it by hours. So if you just wanted to take a photo every 8 hours so you save some of your data, you can do that, which I thought was a pretty neat feature. Most of them will give you up to like 1 to 5 minutes, but I've never seen one that gives you several hours. Let's see what else. Working timer 1 and 2 would be if you only want the camera to be operational during certain times. Maybe you only want to take pictures at nighttime, but not during the daytime. You could set that there. Max number of days is unlimited. This is pretty cool because if you wanted to use this feature, you could say, hey, whenever the camera takes 20 pictures on a given day, stop it. That's it. That's the maximum photos that I want per day. That was another feature I've never seen on a camera. I thought that was pretty cool, especially for somebody like me. You put out your camera and you've got some Johnson grass or tree limbs that are setting it off or something, and it's just burning through your pictures. You can actually kind of control it here by turning on a max number of photos they can take in a given day. And then the rest of it is just some information as far as how do you want the date, and your SD cycle is once the SD card in the camera is filled up, do you want it to overwrite the images starting with the earliest, or do you want it to just stop and quit putting images on the SD card? That's a quick look at the settings. The other thing I wanted to show you is the way you can look at your images. What's kind of cool is you'll notice there's two different columns and they're sorted by date. So I can change the calendar here and I can go back to a previous date. And then you'll see the left column is going to be the video I got and the right column is going to be the picture. So if I want to look at the picture, I can see. I apologize, I put this up in my backyard. I always recommend with a trail camera, put it in your backyard, make sure you know how it works and you've got your settings all figured out before you take it out to the farm. In my case, my farm is about 6 hours away. So the last thing I want to do is set up a camera and realize I didn't know how to set it up and I'm not going to be able to adjust it. So I always try these in my backyard first. That was the photo. I can also go and look at the videos on my phone. And I'm going to try and load some of these actual raw files to this video just so you can get a better idea of the quality of them. That's a day example. Let me see if I can show you a nighttime example. Let's see. Oops. Not sure if I got any real good night examples, but there's a night image. And then here's going to be the video. Whatever animal that was, he's kind of far away in this one. I'll see if I can find a better video. See if I've got any from prior day. What I also kind of like is you notice on the calendar, I've only had it out for a couple of days. You can see under the day how many images it took. So for example, on the 8th, it took 8 pictures. On the 9th, it took 19 pictures. The rest of the days of this calendar, it hasn't taken any images. So that's just a quick look at how you can look at your photos. You'll get a notification. It's just like any other cell phone app. You can turn on or off notifications so that every time it's triggered, your phone will give you a notification. You can go look and see what's at the camera. So anyway, that's a quick look at the app. I'm going to try and load some of these pictures just so you can look at the pictures and videos in full quality. I hope this helps. If you got any questions, post them in the comments. I'd be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.